What I want to talk about is breathing and food. The idea is that we have a certain breathing patterns, we have a certain physiology. So that refers to like body posture, and then this links into also our thoughts and thinking patterns while we're eating food. And the idea being that we're going to have a change of physiology when we're eating good foods compared to when we're eating bad foods. When we're eating with control and within our means compared to when we're eating out of control and we feel like we can't stop. There's going to be significant differences both with posture, both with breathing, both with thinking patterns. And if we can begin to correct these, you can then begin to weaken the desire to eat bad foods or enhance the pleasure from eating healthier foods. And this is a key thing I want you to try and understand, because often you think it's down to your thoughts, but your thoughts are set off by a series of other events, things like posture, things like anchors, an anchor being maybe the people who are in the room with you, maybe that therefore sets you into an old pattern, behavior pattern, thinking process, and the result is you're eating badly. So the real question is, what can we do about such a thing? Well, the idea is to look at our breathing patterns with our meals and look at how they change from good meals to bad meals, so to speak. And what we're going to find normally is, this is a normal pattern, is that when you're eating junk food or foods you shouldn't be eating or don't want to be eating and so forth, you'll normally find you'll drop into a more shallow breathing pattern. And as a result, this will have an effect on the rest of your physiology. It'll make you more stressed, less relaxed, for example. This will mean you'll go on to eat more. Some people, though, will go the other way. It's probably more on the minor side. The idea being that when they're eating their junk foods, they drop into a relaxed state. And then they become more, they'll begin to breathe more deeply, which will then set off a relaxed, cascade of events thereafter. And you'll begin to use that food to help maintain that relaxed state. So one of the first things we want to do is to begin to differentiate between how you breathe. Now, obviously, if you're first hearing this, you'll be like, I haven't got a clue. What are you on about? But this is the idea of what you want to do. So next time you're eating a meal, if it's a good meal, then just begin to tune into your breath. And what you want to do is to try and add relaxation to it by adding a full breath. So I'm going to explain in a minute what a full breath is, but this is a full belly breathing breath. So starting from your lower stomach into the upper stomach, expanding the ribs, expanding the upper rib cage, and then repeating that cycle on the exhalation. If you start focusing on your breathing, it'll add a bit of consciousness to your eating. It will also begin to relax your body. You know, when people are like panicked or they're in pain and so forth, they're all hyped up, the first thing always is, hey, breathe properly. And it's exactly the same here. So if we can begin to add this full breath to our good meals, we'll begin to associate relaxation and we're going to begin to form the state that we want. Then if you find yourself in a period of eating bad foods, the foods you don't want to eat or just generally feel out of control eating-wise, the idea is to then reintroduce this breath into that eating patterns. So even if you've got a chocolate bar in your hand, just pause. Start taking your breathing properly, so to begin to drop back into that effective breathing technique, and then just begin to work out a few breaths, and it will change your emotional state. Now, if you happen to be in the minority, which is the other way around, where you find you are eating the junk food to relax, then what you'll need to do is begin to really practice eating the healthier foods and really working in that breathing pattern too to get you in that more relaxed state. So just to recap what a full breath is, I've got a video on this on YouTube, but the idea being that we want to start the breathing from a very lower stomach. So when we inhale, we come in as far down towards the pelvis as we can, the stomach comes out, then the rest of your stomach expands, so my upper stomach comes out, then as this sort of wave of air hits the rib cage, my ribs go sideways, and then finally I expand the upper chest. So this should be a natural breathing pattern, but for most people it isn't. So what you have to do is drop back into it and sort of practice for that sense. Then you breathe out in the opposite or same sequence. So the lower chest drops first, the ribs expand inwards from the sideways position, upper stomach comes inwards, lower stomach comes inwards. And that's an effective and proper breath. So you add that into your eating, and you should find you begin to change state, you begin to change your mood, you begin to get a different connection to the foods involved. So the best thing is to go out there and try it. And like all these exercises, it takes a little bit of self-discovery, a little bit of practice, and you can find it make a major difference on your eating patterns.